I want you to delete your unreleased songs after watching this video, and it's not because the songs are bad or because you're not a good artist. I don't think any of those things are true if you're watching this video, but I talk to a lot of artists on the daily, and I think I'm seeing a lot of people that are having some sort of identity issues in their music, and today I'm going to talk about why that's important, why that's keeping your songs unreleased, and what can you do to fix that and grow to be a better artist, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here to grow as artists, and unreleased songs are just one of many things that are preventing us from getting to that growth. So my name is Berto, and I've produced over 300 songs in a little under 2 years. You can see here almost 10 gigabytes worth of just WAV files and MP3 files of just finished songs, either by myself or with other artists. And so I think I can confidently say what keeps songs unreleased, what keeps them just, stuck in the folder, and what actually moves songs forward, what makes a song impossible to leave unfinished. If you're in this position of having unreleased songs, I want you to know that this is something you can definitely overcome, but you can never overcome it if you don't understand where you're coming from. So today I actually want to talk about also my client Brandin, because he's probably in a similar position to where you are at right now. When I initially got on a call with him just to get to know him better as an artist, I realized that he had a lot of unreleased songs. He would re-record the same song 3 to 4 times, and he would say that he did it because he just wanted to get the feel right. And I think that's kind of like a smoke screen that people hide behind when they say they have unreleased songs. And I also want to teach you the flow method, so you can really be analyzing your own music, your own process of how you make music, to see what is keeping your songs unreleased, and to finally find that momentum where you can be releasing stuff consistently and being the type of artist that's not keeping stuff unreleased, that's actually giving your fans what they want to hear. And the flow method has been really helpful for me because now I don't really leave songs unfinished. I actually only stop working on a project if it's absolute garbage, if I'm just messing around in the DAW, or if I'm working with a client and they just want to work on a different idea. I don't stop working on songs with clients anymore because the songs are bad or because I can't find a direction for it. And a few people before in the past, when I've shown them the flow method, they've gone ahead, tried to implement it, but it only really works for a couple of days for them. So I think it's really important for you to understand why this method is so important and why you're currently doing things, so you can, instead of just changing your habits, if you've ever read any books about habits, for example, Atomic Habits, it's a great book by the way, you really understand this idea, because if you want a different outcome, you can't really get the outcome just by changing your actions. For example, if I wanted to get to 10,000 streams next month, I guess there are a few things I could do to make that happen next month, but if I wanted to have that consistently happen over the course of 12 months, I wouldn't just have to change my habits, I have to change my whole identity. These changes from the flow method, where you're going to be able to create, hundreds of songs, that's only going to happen if you actually have the right mindset and identity going into it, because if not, I'm sure you're going to forget this stuff, because at this point you've probably watched a lot of videos around this topic, and let's be honest, you've probably forgotten most of them. So that's why I really want to go over why unreleased music matters. So first, we're going to talk about, why does unreleased music matter? Because I always tell people that having unreleased songs is kind of like a graveyard in which, each one of these graves are your songs. Every song that you leave unfinished is a song that, comes to die here at the graveyard. I know it's a little dark, and a lot of people will confidently tell me sometimes that they have unreleased songs, like, I worked on 5 songs this month, but I only finished 1. A lot of people don't see the problem in it, and if that's you, I just want to understand, what does that make you? If you have this graveyard of all these unreleased songs, what does that make you? And I always tell people, it's kind of like the Pac-Man ghost, right? If you're having unreleased songs, that ties into your identity very heavily, because if you're not releasing as much music as you could be releasing, that means a lot of your stuff will go unheard, and maybe people won't be able to find you as easily, or you won't have an extensive catalog, and also you won't get results as fast, because if you're able to do stuff in more volume, you can get your results better. If you want 50k streams by the end of the year, is it easier to do that with 2 songs a month or 1 song every 2 months? And also, you're inconsistent. If you allow yourself to keep songs unreleased just for the sake of it, then you're going to become wildly inconsistent, and that's going to show off in your identity as an artist to your fans and people who are going to be watching you. But instead of a ghost, with a graveyard, you could instead be designing a house. Think of your music sort of like a house, and you're the architect, and if you actually take the time to understand what's the best way to construct your music, then you can be an architect that's constructing a music career that, you're actually building up a real fan base of people that actually care about your music while you're being authentic. You're making music that actually resonates with you and makes you happy, music that you're proud of. And finally, you can also be consistent in, releasing songs, whether it's once a month or whatever consistency looks like for you. So now you might be thinking, all this identity stuff is pretty cool, but how do I actually get from being, this kind of Pac-Man ghost over here to being the music architect that I want to be? So that's where I think we should go back and talk about Brandin now and the flow method. So basically, we'll be talking about the flow method and kind of Brandin's workflow and how he made music before and after he started working with me and the team here at Beloved Productions. So first up, we've got F for foundation. Remember, your music is like a house. You're the architect here, and if you build a house on quicksand, if you build your career on quicksand as an artist, things aren't going to go very well. So before, let's see what Brandin was doing. So we had some uncertainty in production in the writing. On the initial call I had with him, he told me that, you know, he wasn't sure with certain production choices. He was doing everything alone, right? So he didn't really have people he could bounce ideas off of, and so that led him to, when he would record an idea, he wouldn't be fully sure about it, and he would maybe go back and, you know, try and re-record things in different genres and different styles because he didn't have that conviction in his recording. And the flow framework is kind of like a cause and effect thing. So you'll see how each step of it affects directly the next step. So the foundation that you build your career on as an artist will affect your labors, and that's, you know, the daily inputs, the things that you're doing every day that affects the output of your music. So Brandin's uncertainty in the production and writing, you know, the foundation that he had was leading him to have a song that maybe he told me about a specific song that he re-recorded 4 times because he didn't have the right direction on it. And I think, like I said before, if you build your house on quicksand, you're not going to get very good results. And now that he's in the state of re-recording a song multiple times, how does that affect his output? How does that affect the music he's making? Well, that simply means he has a library of unfinished songs. And I think this is where you might be right now if you're still watching this video. If you have unreleased music, you know, this is the cause. You have to really sit down and analyze, you know, what's the foundation, what are the labors, the daily choices that I'm making that's causing my music to be unreleased, what's affecting my output, basically. And that ties into who. That's your identity, who you are as an artist, which is super important because your identity as an artist is derived from your daily actions, the songs you're making, and the foundation that you're putting into your music. So if you're someone that has all of these things of the above, what's your identity? Well, I think your identity will be uncertain. Like we talked about before with the ghost example, you're uncertain, you're inconsistent with your releases, and honestly it's hard to be a fan of your music because if you are these two things and, you know, you're releasing once every 3 months, it's very hard for me to stay in tune with your music. So that's the before. Let's look at the after of, you know, now that we have this flow method and that we can really sit down and analyze Brandin's workflow, how can we make this better? How can we change the foundation, to change the labor, to change the output, to ultimately change our who, change our identity, and becoming an artist that's like that architect we talked about before. So first up, in our work with Brandin, I think the first thing we change is obviously the foundation, right? If he was having a lot of uncertainty in production and writing, that's an easy fix. We literally just gave him a support system to help him polish his ideas. So what does that look like? That means having open communication with the team. You know, we have a songwriter on the team, we have a content strategist on the team, and we have me as the producer. And so with that support system, he was able to bounce ideas back and forth and no longer have that uncertainty. He had people, you know, who were in his corner making music with him, allowing him to come up with ideas that he was proud of and actually stick to them. So once he had that good foundation, what were the daily inputs? What were the labors that he was doing every day with that foundation in mind? And we found that pretty quickly he was able to record ideas as soon as we got them out of the initial just idea phase. He didn't have to wait for anyone's confirmation. He could just record them and then send them back to us so we can actually turn them into a full song. He wasn't in that position anymore where he would re-record a full song 4 times because now he had that good foundation and he didn't have to be in that re-recording phase. He could just record and have the song be done. And that really positively affected his output because now that means he can be making 1 to 2 songs a month, knowing first of all that his ideas are really solid and he doesn't have to be re-recording stuff. But that meant he also didn't have to worry about, you know, any of the mixing, the technical stuff. We can handle the post-production for him since, you know, he's working one-on-one with us. And this means now that the output that he's releasing is entirely dependent on him and just how many ideas he records because he has the exact foundation and labors required to get this output. And I think if you're able to get to that stage, you can be an artist whose ideas are fully executed, you know, over here in the foundation and the labors section. You can also be confident in releasing music that you're actually proud of, you're happy listening to it. You can be fully confident listening back to it that, you know, the production is as good as it gets, the writing was as good as it gets, you know, the mixing, everything was super good because from the beginning I had a good idea. I had people backing me up to help me create the best music I possibly could. And these next two really go hand in hand because if you are really, you know, making 1 song a month, that means you could be more reliable in how many songs you're putting out, and that means in turn you can promote your music more and build more of a community and actually find people that resonate with your music. So yeah, here's the full before and after. If you want more videos talking about identity as an artist and just about the music industry in general, how do we become better every day as an artist, that's really what I talk about on this channel. So make sure to subscribe if you like content like that, and I'll see you in the next one.